You sat on the board of a Bloomberg charity that quite publicly gave tens of millions of dollars to Planned Parenthood while you were a director. How could you help a charity so openly committed to abortion rights?
Here's my record. As governor of the state of Florida, I defunded Planned Parenthood. I created a culture of life in our state.
But did you know?
No, I didn't know, but it doesn't matter.
Well, that was Jeb Bush fielding a question about Planned Parenthood last night. Facebook analysis found that abortion was a top 5 issue for the folks that they were tracking, ranking above foreign policy in the Middle East. So did Jeb Bush help or hurt himself with that answer? And did anyone else end up damaging their own reputation in the effort to score some points? Back now to our panel. He ultimately said he didn't know that this group that he was sitting on was giving tens of millions of dollars to Planned Parenthood over the years. This past 4 years, he's a director on the company. Tens of millions, very well publicized. I, of course, didn't get the chance to follow up to him. But what do you think? Is it plausible that he didn't know? Did you believe that he didn't know? Go ahead, sir.
Flat out lie, in my opinion. You can almost read it in his body.
A lie?
Yes.
You don't believe it?
Nope, I don't believe it at all.
You think he knew and he just didn't object?
Well, I think he didn't know, but he should have known. Because, I imagine he's on boards of lots of things and involved in all sorts of different projects and doesn't know all of the details. But, when you're in a public life, when you're the governor of the state and you're named Bush, you should know everything you're involved in.
But does it matter to you, given his strong pro-life record in Florida, which is legit? Go ahead.
I'm Gianno Caldwell. I'm a federal lobbyist. I work with these elected officials all the time. They know these issues before they sit on any boards. They know who's giving money.
Why would he do that? Because his record in Florida is very pro-life.
Because he thought that he can center it around a topic that everyone would like, education. That's an important topic, and people will embrace that. But Planned Parenthood is a disaster now, and there should be an investigation, which there isn't currently one under this administration.
It's interesting. What did you make of Marco Rubio? Because I asked him last night about the fact, how can you believe that life begins at conception and favor an exception for rape and incest, right? Because this is what the pro-life folks say, that why would you kill a life just because it began violently? Then he denied that he supported rape and incest exceptions, but the truth is he does. His record shows that he does. Did anybody have a reaction to that? Go ahead.
I did. I think that he needs to clarify, and that's exactly the sort of behavior that people are tired of, the flip-flopping, they're not sure of their positions, or their record says otherwise, and it just makes it difficult to give credibility to what they're saying and to find an honesty in what they're saying. So I think he needs to work hard at clarifying his position on that. I was kind of surprised.
I was surprised
let me just give, just because I hold a similar position, let me just give this view. Just because I'm in favor of a 20-week ban on abortion doesn't mean that I think the 19-week-old infant doesn't have a right to life. It does mean that I want to.
You'll take what you can get.
I'll take what I can get.
Yeah,
and I think that was, I feel like, what Rubio was trying to say, but it's not what he said.
Like, I backed legislation that has the exceptions because that's the political reality.
Exactly.
Understood. Yeah. That's how we should have said it.
Yes.
I think that they all suddenly, obviously in light of all of these Planned Parenthood videos, now all of a sudden we have these presidential candidates that have become pro-life. So I think it's important to look at their history.
See if it's real.
If it's real.
Let me ask you about, I want to move on, because the dynamic between Rand Paul and Chris Christie was probably the moment of the night. That's what everybody's talking about today. And I'm wondering whether you thought, first of all, raise your hand if you thought Rand Paul won that exchange. Raise your hand if you thought Chris Christie won that exchange.
I think both of them.
Interesting. Let's play a little. Show a little bit of, let's see Rand going after Christie.
I don't trust President Obama with our records. I know you gave him a big hug, and if you want to give him a big hug again, go right ahead.
And you know, Senator Paul, the hugs that I remember are the hugs that I gave to the families who lost their people on September 11th. Those are the hugs I remember.
What did you think of that moment? Oh, they're all fired up about that one. Yeah, you go right here.
I live in Jersey.
You're from Jersey.
I'm a 9/11 family member, and I have to say that Chris Christie has been inconsistent with some of the things he's done with 9/11 family members. So I really don't know why he's touting his 9/11 family member record. He's appointed judges that are radical to the bench in New Jersey. So I have real issues, and I take real issues with him. But what I saw from him in this exchange, I've met Chris Christie. This is typical Chris Christie. This is what he is, in your face all the time. I'm not backing down. I'm going to tell you what it is, whether you like it or not.
Do you like Donald Trump?
I do.
You like it in Trump, you don't like it in Chris Christie. I don't understand. Go ahead.
You're onto it, right? Donald Trump's going to fade
and a guy like Chris Christie is going to fill that vacuum.
You think so?
Because he represents he echoes Donald Trump.
That's what.
But he's actually been a governor. He's actually been an attorney general.
Can you get past the bear hug that Rand Paul was referring to?
I certainly can.
That doesn't bother. How about Bridgegate? Do you care about that?
I think that I don't care about Bridgegate.
Raise your hand if you care about Bridgegate.
You don't live in New Jersey?
Only one.
Actually, that's what I was about to mention, Megan. I think it was a draw because Chris Christie had Bridgegate, and that was something that he was trying to come out of the shadows of. And Rand Paul, as a millennial myself, I think that the government shouldn't be collecting my records en masse. I think you should go and get a warrant for it. So in that instance, they both won something. As a millennial, that's what I like, and Chris Christie had something to stand on and get him past Bridgegate.
Go ahead.
I live a mile from George Washington Bridge. I commute to New Jersey every day for work. You know, he was great in the debate last night. He absolutely was a mic drop moment, but the truth of the matter is the New Jersey Transit trains are terrible. The Bridgegate debate was very, very real, and it was a significant amount of baggage, and I can't imagine why Chris Christie would want to be president of the United States when he received so much federal help during Sandy. So it seems like he's great on TV, fast in his feet, but is he really prepared to be president?
That's not the point.
What about Rand? Because when he came out there at the beginning moment of the debate, when Trump said he might run as an independent, and Rand came out swinging, saying, this is the problem. He can buy, right? And then he came out swinging against Christie, and he was clearly trying to make an impression. Here I am. You in the back, because we haven't heard from you.
But Rand Paul didn't have a choice. He had to make an impact in this debate, and that's what he tried to do early. And it was a put-off. It diminished him in my eyes when I saw that.
Is that right?
But the point here is being missed. I mean, the fact of the matter.
There's a big fundamental issue going on. What you saw with Christie and what you saw with Rand Paul was, do we care about our laws in our country? Do we care about our Bill of Rights? Do we care about our privacy and protection versus how far are we willing to go to make sure that we don't have another terrorist event? And, the fact of the matter is, and Santorum said it in the earlier debate, that we're a nation of laws. Our humanity or our charity or our compassion comes from our laws. And the fact is that, we do have a Bill of Rights in this country. Right. The fact that we have a post-literate society where nobody knows what's in the Bill of Rights doesn't mean that we don't have these rights.
I will say,
but that's the irony.
That's one of the reasons why we really liked that debate was because it was substantive. You were learning things. They were using actual facts and real arguments to go back on each other. Let me ask you something else. So Jeb Bush had a couple of moments that people pointed to. Donald Trump did, obviously. Did anybody else have a moment that stood out in a negative way to any of you?
Pimps and whores.
Pimps and whores.
That was the moment I thought you guys were going to totally censor. Censor Governor Huckabee. I couldn't believe you said that.
Yeah, right.
Governor Huckabee made a great point when he took the great Reagan saying of trust but verify and said Obama is trust but vilify.
Do we have that queued up?
Yeah.
They're telling me. Do we have time to play it? They're not answering to me. All right, they never do. Anyway, we don't have it, but yes, keep going.
And the exchange that we were talking about with Paul and Christie, that's it. The balance of liberty and security, and that Christie had to resort to emotion and insults, told me he was losing on the facts, and that's why he had to resort to those things. That's when you're winning, you don't do that.
The irony here is that Christie should have been lecturing Rand Paul about the Constitution and what our rights are. But it was the other way around. Rand Paul was saying we had the Constitution, mass collection of privacy invasions of Americans, and then Governor Christie's telling, well, no, we have to
ignore the Constitution.
That's the whole point. No, everyone's talking about the exchange.
I don't mean to be a downer, but it's actually not a constitutional issue. There is no constitutional right that individuals have in their phone records. You only have you might have a statutory right to the protection of them, but sorry, getting a little legalistic on you now. Sorry, I had to do it. Okay, I gotta go.
It's also mass spying programs as well.
To be continued, stand by. The primetime debate generated thousands of TV and print stories earlier today, each with a slightly different take on who won and who lost. But when it comes to the earlier debate, they're calling it the happy hour debate, which is kind of fun. I don't know. I mean, did they feel happy? One person is clearly standing out, and she's definitely happy today. Up next, our panel talks Carly Fiorina.
Hillary Clinton lies about Benghazi. She lies about emails. She is still defending Planned Parenthood, and she is still her party's front runner.